Let's take a look at this ProfileUnity configuration on the Google Cloud platform, including storing profiles and applications on Google Cloud Storage. We're going to give you an idea of how it looks in ProfileUnity and how it looks in the back end of the Google Cloud Storage, and then also how it performs. Let me show you how easy it is to add a configuration. Click Create, click Guided Setup, select the drop-down,
choose your template.
This makes it much easier to get started, and then you can add advanced settings when you're completed. In this section, you assign cloud storage credentials. Here, we're going to use the Google credentials. This top portion is for the console to access and save policy. The bottom portion is for the client to access profiles and applications. Let's take a look at this configuration in more detail. Clicking Configuration Management and then selecting the configuration will bring you into the details of this configuration. Let's take a look at the portability settings. These are the registry and file settings that will be saved from the user, and they'll be stored to where the save path denotes. Each one of these entries is registry and file settings that will be saved into its own archives on the Google Cloud Storage platform in the following location: lw-profileunity-portability/%username. Now remember, these are saved on Google Cloud Storage as individual archives for easy modification of the user's profile. Now let's take a look at what applications are deployed to the test users in this configuration. The first rule assigns Google Chrome and Google Drive to all the users. The second rule assigns Notepad, VLC, and Audacity to demo user 1. And the third rule assigns Foxit Reader 9, Photoshop, and Snagit to demo user 2. These are hard-coded rules right now for demo user 1 and 2, but you could use a variety of context-aware filters to dynamically assign apps to different types of users depending upon context of location, IP address, etc. So you've seen some portability rules for the user's persona, registry, and file system that will be harvested and saved to the Google Cloud Storage. You've also seen some FlexApps that will be delivered to the users from the Google Cloud Storage. Let's go take a look at the back end of the Google Cloud Storage and how this appears. This is a look at the GCS bucket details. You've got the ProfileUnity license and the ProfileUnity policy file stored right here, along with the FlexApp folder. If you dive in the FlexApp folder, these are the FlexApps that can be delivered to the user. This is a look at the Photoshop application, its VHD file, its icon, its XML file, that are staged to be delivered to the user on demand. Notice this is a bucket, LWL ProfileUnity configs FlexApp, Photoshop. There are similar buckets for LWL ProfileUnity portability, and then of course the username for the user's persona. Now let's take a look at what these FlexApps look like in the FlexApp console. Here you've got 2 pages of applications. On the first page you've got some applications that we saw we were delivering out to the user. If I click Create an Application, I can fill in a package name and pick my storage. Is it going to be FlexDisk, on-prem? Is it going to be cloud storage? If it's cloud storage, I pick my credentials. After I enter my credentials, I can modify my cloud storage path if it's different. Pick the size of the VHD, and if it's expandable or not. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward GUI to set up your applications in the cloud storage location. Liquidware supports Azure Blob, Google Cloud Storage, and AWS S3 out of the box. Notice that there's 2 Notepad++'s here, and one of them has a Liquidware logo at the bottom right of the icon. This application is staged on our bucket so that you can simply drop the drop-down and click Clone, taking that application and cloning it to a package name on your prem or in your cloud. For instance, picking Cloud here will allow you to change the cloud storage location. Simply type in AZ-S3GC and your path and choose your storage credentials, and that application will be duplicated to your environment. Now these applications, these FlexApps, are going to be delivered to demo user 1 and demo user 2, with the first rule being delivered to everybody. However, you could choose a filter and apply it to just those users that match that filter, or you can create a custom filter. For instance, this filter is Windows 7, 8, and 10. However, I could go in here and choose to make sure there's a certain registry value that exists first, or a certain file or directory that exists first, or doesn't exist if I wanted to do it that way, before the application is rolled out. I could make sure that they're on a certain connection type, a certain operating system. There's a number of different filters. There's over 300 filters that you can create that are all dynamic, and then the application or whatever the function is in ProfileUnity will be executed based on the result of the filter. So let's go ahead and proceed to log into this Google hosted desktop. ProfileUnity starts to run, initializing, chooses the configuration, processes the modules, pulling over the portability settings from the Google Cloud Storage, which is happening right now. While that's occurring, let's go ahead and log in as user 2. User 2, ProfileUnity is initializing. Executing the configuration that we've chosen, Windows 7, 10, 2016 profile stored on Google Cloud Storage. Pulling over the portability settings right now from the Google Cloud Storage location. Go back to the first user. The first user is logged in. Desktop is up and going. One thing you can note is that this is exactly the user experience running Google Cloud Storage on Google Cloud Platform using ProfileUnity and FlexApp with no sleight of the hands or cutting and pasting or splicing of a video. You can reference the clock on the bottom right hand side of your screen to confirm that. Let's go ahead and open up the Task Manager. Within the Task Manager, we're going to go ahead and look at the performance of the Ethernet adapter. The dark color is the receive, and if you notice, it's fairly idle right now. There's a few spikes here and there, but it's not really doing too much. I'm going to double click Google Chrome. You'll see there's a spike up to 9.1 megabytes per second. The application's been cached down. It's layered locally now onto the box. If I double click the application again, very small spike compared to the initial layering of the application. That's because the application's blocks again are cached down, locally available. Let's try this with a couple other applications that again don't exist on this box. Notepad++, double click it. You see the received spikes up a little bit. Not much. I mean, it's so low you can barely see it on there. Audacity, you double click it, spikes up a little bit, just about the same size as Notepad, which looks to be 4850 kilobits per second. As I continue on, if I were to go to the second user on this box, if I were to double click Google Chrome, that's already been layered on this box, so it's instantaneous. There is no caching the blocks local. Photoshop, however, not layered on this box, isolated from the other user. I double click it. Photoshop is now running on the box, like it's pretty much like it's natively installed, although it's being cached right now to the system locally and streamed. On subsequent user clicking this application, if they have rights, there'll be no caching of those blocks down. It would just open instantaneously. But that was a near instantaneous open as far as I'm concerned as well. So what you've seen is a demonstration of a Google Cloud hosted desktop using profiles and applications stored on Google Cloud Storage. No SMB shares, no clustering to deal with, no replication to deal with. Simple, easy way to scale. Simple, easy way to implement DR for an organization. This can be used with on-prem and cloud at the same time. You can use one management console to effect change across both platforms. And so the best way for you to get started with this would be to download the product yourself, give it a try on your Azure, on your Google, on your AWS cloud, and on your on-prem. And then you can construct the proper go-forward path for your customer if you're a consultant, or for your organizations if you're the end user. And we'll be glad to help you get started and kick this off on your own, so you can again plan your own destiny using our solution and managing across whichever platform you choose.